Gladys Rodriguez stood in court with 9 violations hanging over her name. 9 red lights, speeding, and fines she could not easily escape. On paper, it looked reckless, dangerous, maybe even irresponsible. But then the judge looked past the tickets and asked one simple question. Why? And suddenly, this was no longer just a traffic case. Because behind those red lights was a mother, a 9-year-old daughter, and a terrifying story of someone chasing them through the streets. The courtroom was quiet when Gladys Rodriguez stepped forward. She looked nervous, standing under the bright lights, facing Judge Frank Caprio and Inspector Quinn. The judge glanced down at the file in front of him. It was not small. "Gladys," he said, "what are we going to do with you?"
Gladys, what are we going to do with you?
There were 9 violations listed against her. 9 red lights, speeding, other issues connected to her car. To anyone reading the paperwork, it looked like a pattern of careless driving. Inspector Quinn explained the situation to the judge, and the judge studied Gladys carefully. She did not look defiant. She did not look angry. She looked like someone carrying something heavy. So the judge asked her what she did for work. Gladys answered softly. She worked for a staffing agency as a recruiter. She had a job. She had responsibilities. And then, before the courtroom could reduce her to a list of traffic violations, she began to explain. She said those tickets had a story behind them.
Gladys told the judge she had been involved in a domestic violence relationship. Many of those red lights, she said, happened when she was trying to get away from someone who had been chasing her, sometimes while her young daughter was with her. The judge paused. "How old is your daughter?" he asked. 9, Gladys said. Her daughter lived with her. At that moment, the little girl was in school, unaware that her mother was standing in court, trying to explain moments that had been filled with fear. The judge wanted to understand. He was not dismissing the violations, but he was trying to separate what was ordinary traffic behavior from what may have happened during a crisis. He asked whether she had truly been chased. Gladys said yes. Inspector Quinn added that some of the background had been checked. There were reports involving damage to her vehicle, and there were indications that at least some of what she was describing had support behind it. But he also noted it did not appear that every violation could be explained that way. There was also another issue involving a license plate from an older matter, going back years. Gladys said she did not know about that plate. Judge Caprio listened. He did not treat her pain like entertainment. He did not force her to retell every private detail in front of a room full of strangers. Instead, he made something clear. He told her the court was very sensitive to matters involving personal safety, especially when someone had been pursued or threatened. He understood that parts of her story were deeply personal, and he was not going to dig into them unnecessarily. But he also had to be fair. He reminded her that traffic laws had still been violated. Some of those choices may have been influenced by fear, panic, and the emotional state she was in at the time, but not all of them could simply be erased. Gladys stood there, listening, a single mother trying to hold herself together. Then the judge shifted the conversation. He asked about her ability to pay. She worked, but she was raising her daughter alone. She had already survived something painful, and now she was standing in court facing hundreds of dollars in fines. Judge Caprio looked at her and said he understood she had been going through difficulties, and because of that, he wanted to help. Then he began to speak about something bigger than the case in front of him. He said that in this country and across the world, there are generous people, compassionate people who watch the court and send letters. Some of those letters include checks meant to help strangers who are going through hard times. On his bench, he had one of those letters. It came from a man named Joseph Badass,
in Kingston, Pennsylvania. Joseph had sent a check for $100, asking the judge to use it at his discretion for someone who needed compassion. Judge Caprio looked at Gladys and said he would use that $100 toward her fines. But he was not finished. Her total fine would be $350. Then the judge mentioned another gift, a $75 check from the Fields family in Phoenix, Arizona. They were immigrants, he said, and they wanted to help someone else in need. That brought the help to $175. Then came a third check. This one was from Jenno Muller in Costa Mesa, California. It was for $50, also sent with the request that it be used for someone who needed help. The judge added it all together. 3 strangers from 3 different places had never met Gladys. They did not know her daughter. They had not seen her run from danger. But their kindness had arrived in that courtroom at the exact moment she needed it. The total assistance came to $225. That meant Gladys would only owe $125. For a moment, she seemed overwhelmed. The pressure, the shame, the fear, the relief, all of it rose to the surface. Then she asked the judge a simple question.
Can I give you a hug?
Come on up here.
Can I hug you? Judge Caprio smiled and invited her forward. Gladys walked up and hugged him, holding on with the kind of gratitude that words could not fully carry. The courtroom broke into applause. The judge gently told her to relax and asked if she felt better now. Gladys thanked him, her voice filled with emotion. He told her she was going to be okay. In the end, this was not about ignoring the law. It was about seeing the human being standing behind the mistake. Sometimes justice is not only a punishment. Sometimes it is mercy, offered at the right moment. If you were the judge, would you have helped Gladys too?